Let's talk a little bit about Thundergong,
Yeah.
which is how we met at the first Thundergong.
Right.
And so tell me a little bit about how Thundergong start. What was the impact to you in Steps of Faith? And then tell me a little bit about this year's Thundergong.
Yeah. So, back to the 2006 fundraiser that Corey Rittmaster and his wife put together with Jason and those folks, Kay and Ed. Fast forward to Steps of Faith starting in, a few years later in 2013. Jason was one of the first people I told about. I was like, look, man, I told him about it. I was in New York and told him about it in person shortly after I got the job. And I remember I said, we raised 30 grand for me that paid for half of the leg. We raised 30 grand for this thing. That's like 30 to 60 legs, man, and that blew him away. Really, the beginning of last year, I started talking to him really seriously about it. Like, I have this idea. I feel like I have a really clear idea about a fundraiser we could do together. And you would host and perform, and it would be this drum event. We would have a house band, and then we would have all these guest drummers. But the drummers would be like celebrity drummers, because a bunch of famous drummers at this point, Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters being two of them, for instance. And kept talking about it. And really, that's how the whole thing formed. And then we talked about it really seriously that summer of 2017. And then he called Taylor Hawkins. And Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters, they didn't perform last year. They didn't, but we literally scheduled it around them.
Wow.
So Taylor said, I'm really into this idea. I love it. Let's talk more. There was more to it than that. But so we scheduled it around a day off for Foo Fighters, which is why it was on a Sunday last year. Mm-hmm. And they had a day off, and they were playing Wichita the next night.
Okay.
Ultimately, it didn't work out that the Foos were able to do it, but which we didn't find out till kind of late in the game, but we were pretty far down the road.
But you had a pretty good lineup.
It worked out, man. It went beyond being a drum event, which I think, as much as I love them drums, is a little more mass appeal. Yep. So yeah, what it became was just this crazy funny rock and roll experience. So it really was a concert and not a comedy show, but it was unique in that it's hosted by this guy who's famous for being an actor and a comedian.
And a lot of musicians there were funny people.
Absolutely.
Will Forte.
Forte is a great musician and a very, very funny guy and great actor. Mm-hmm. We had Fred Armisen, who's known a little more for being a musician, but his main career is he's an actor.
Oh, absolutely. And he's got a cult following.
Absolutely. So we had those three guys, and that's how we announced it out of the gate. That's ultimately what it was. We also ended up having Winona Judd. Her husband, Cactus Mosier, lost his left leg above the knee, like me, in a motorcycle accident. His was a motorcycle accident. And he's on our board of directors. So they're part of the family. So we had Cactus and Winona, and that was talk about random. Jason, Will Forte, Fred Armisen, right. Winona Judd.
Where else are you going to find a room with people like this?
Yeah. Tech Nine came and was a surprise guest. And we had Chris Calico, who works with Tech Nine a lot. Who's really, 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 really brilliant musician, singer, songwriter, performer, incredible guy. Madison Ward, the Mama Bear, the Get Up Kids.
So the format of this was held at the Uptown Theater. It's an event to all the money's going to Steps of Faith. Mm-hmm. It is pretty much a concert of funny people that also happen to be really good at instruments.
Yeah.
So it is comedic.
And some people who are just good at instruments. But
yeah, but someone like Will Forte was not great at the triangle, so you get a couple of those intermixed in between there.
He's been taking lessons.
I hope he has lessons coming into the 2018 Thundergong. I'm expecting a better performance on the triangle. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, what did Thundergong 2017, this amazing event that sold out at Uptown Theater, sold out very, very quickly. What did that provide Steps of Faith, and what was the impact of that?
It changed everything. It more than doubled our budget for the year. I think I said when I was thanking people at the event, and most importantly, thanking Jason for kicking down the door and announcing to Kansas City and the world that Steps of Faith is a thing.
Right.
Awareness is kind of an annoying word when it comes to nonprofits. We're raising awareness. It's like, no, we're raising money, but you need to be aware of it in order to give money in the first place.
Right.
So Thundergong was really good for that, whether it was a $35 or $45 ticket or whatever that somebody paid to come, or whether they were a sponsor and gave $10,000, we get all that, we feel all of that, and now all those people know.
Can you just explain it like I'm 5?